Did we go blank there for a second? You guys can see everything, hear me, everything? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay. No, I guess it was on my side then, because it just disconnected for a second, so I couldn't see anything. My screen was blank. Little arrows that say SPMP. Oh, those are just pivot points. I really gotta take those chunks out, man. They really don't help anybody. Well, not me. They don't help me. These little things you're talking about? Yeah, these are just a strong pivot, strong pivot, strong pivot. But this is stupid. It's a stupid indicator. Really is. I gotta take that junk out because it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so that was some of your formations. That was some of your patterns. Um, if you yeah, I know the hackers. Yeah, so if you guys got any questions now, we could probably go through some of that. Question number one is oh, let me show you guys some of the stuff that I like. I like PBMD. I know this is wishy-washy here. Um, I like PBMD here, guys. Just I know I've been pointing this out to you guys, but I'm liking this little breakout here, and I'm just really liking last couple patterns here that's been testing my trigger, and then this one came above my trigger today. So I'm actually liking this chart right here. So we'll look into it, but I am looking at this one kind of seriously. I'm in at 2, and you guys know that. I'm in at 2 swinging this thing. So I'm hoping I can get a pop somewhere. You know, I really want a big pop. Who doesn't want a big pop? But I'm just hoping that I get some kind of action out of it. Um, no, they work. Um, so that's what I'm looking at right now. PBMD. Jivo. Key. Jivo. And Jivo go up after hours too. My morning routine. Will I get up? I brush my teeth. You mean that? No? Okay. Hold on. One sec. Let me go over this thing. Jivo. Same pattern as that PBMD. You gotta watch over here though. You gotta watch that 443. You gotta get a break above that, because that's your 200 right there. Chart's gonna stop there for a second. So, I mean, this obviously is a really nice formation going on here. I mean, you guys got, I know you guys are all playing this. Let's see. Well, obviously, you got the first break. If this was the flag, if that was the flag there, a really ugly flag, but it's still a flag, then you got the break here. So, now you're in. This is how I would chart this. You're there. And, well, I guess you would have to use this bottom one. But I like to connect lines, so I wouldn't connect those. I would still consider those. Okay, right there. So that would be your channel here. Holy shit. Yeah, it really moved. Okay, so there was that line anyways. Coming through over there. But that's your, so what is it at now? Let me just, okay, that's the yellow line there. Put it back on a daily. Oh, so it's already at the 200. Did it pull off that? Well, yeah, okay. So it's already at your 200. Alright, so then you gotta get that break over though. It's not gonna just go over. It's gonna need some volume. The triggers, can talk about triggers. I use both. I don't even know why. I really don't. This is my things here. This gotta go. Let's remove this. Let's remove this junk. Okay, we don't need that. Alright. Alright, these are my lines that's on my thing. I just have a bullish engulfing pattern that highlights. I use the 20 SMA, the 200 SMA, the 50 SMA, and the 8 EMA. Those are my lines that I use. Those are the only indicators that I really have on here. Everything else I just kind of wing it. And well, my lines, my famous lines. Like I saw some movement on this. Let's look at a daily. Yeah, I mean it's moving up, it's sitting above the trigger. So you got this, you got the up, you got the down, you got the consolidation zone here, and then so you just gotta look for some sort of breakup. That's the this is the. Let me put a line in here, and then you could get a channel. That's your channel right there. In here. So until it breaks to the upside or to the downside, this is the range that this stock's gonna play. It's gonna play from, what's that, 12 to 9. So that's your range there. You got like a 2 or 3 point range. That's until this chart decides to do something up or do something down. But until, I mean, you day trading this is fine, but it's not even a lot of volume here. I mean, 74,000 shares today. So it's not really anything here until this chart goes to the upside or breaks to the downside. There's not going to be a lot of explosive moves here. Not yet. RC, man, this. Okay. Show you guys how when I think was the same time when Wall Street Warrior had put up the news, was the same time I got the volume. This was the first volume that I ignored in the room, by the way. I ignored this one here. Wall Street alerted it here. I ignored this one because I just didn't see anything going on with it. I should have said volume alert since here. I told you guys MMs were buying it up. That was here. And I should have alerted that here. I mean, this whole madness happened. So, this was my fault for not alerting that. But I did alert on this smaller volume here. That one. On this candle. That's when I alerted it. But this is just classic right here. How does a guy play UVXY? Well, you don't play it right UVXY right now because it's gonna go down. Yeah, you got around here on this, right, with the new 71s. Right, and if I had alerted it here, right, my idiot ass, we would have freaking waited for it to come back and sit on the 200 right here, and we would have, I mean, at least somebody would have taken it long. So we would have gotten this thing right down here. And then obviously we would have, you know, shit our pants when this happened. But, I mean, just to think that this volume here, I always tell you guys volume before price, right? So the volume, every time I say volume alert, it goes up on that volume because a lot of people are buying a lot of shares. And then it has to come back down and then boom. I mean, even if you look at this in really, really simplistic terms, it's like a little triangle right there. Little baby triangle. And then boom, breakout. And then you got channel. And I mean that's the end of that story. It was just ridiculous. I didn't see this happening though. Did not see that happening. I mean, look at that channel all the way up. So when you're doing an intraday play, just say, okay, say tomorrow you get up and you say, okay, I want to do 2 charts for the day, or I want to do 1 trade for the day. And you say, okay, well, I'm going to do RCPT, whatever. So you get up, and obviously you're all the way back here, so you don't know what the hell's going on, right? But you're thinking, okay, if you look at it from the past day, I'm thinking, okay, well, this chart's telling me this is the pattern it wants to take. Right there. So if this chart's telling me this is the trend it wants to take, then even before any of the madness happened, you're looking here for an entry. Because this is where the chart telling you that it wants to go. So it got pretty close to that area. And that's from the day before it telling you that that's the direction that it wants to head. And as you pull this over, you'll see that it really did go all the way. Now if that same line continues, this chart's going to pull back to there. Because that's the trend that it's on. And then it's going to go again. So for this chart here, I would expect it to come back down here. And if it coincidentally, it lines right back up with that 200 right there is my gray line. It runs into the 200 area. So you see that support area, that's where it's going to come back down to. So this chart's going to come back down to 177 area before it does anything else. Is there a button? What do I look for when I go long on a para? Okay. What went para the other day? Dale? That went para a couple days ago, right? Right. And we went long on this here. Okay. So on a para, why don't I go short on the first pop or a second pop? That's what you ask me. Why I didn't decide, hey, let me go short here instead of going long. Because right here on the first spike, I picked this up on my volume scanner right here, the first spike. And let me see if I can squinch this screen up a little bit. Here, the close right there, that's my indicator right there. That, okay, it came above the close. When it stayed above the close, that's when I'm going long off this support. So when I took here, I think it was, I can't remember what it was, 109.75 or some, I can't remember what it was exactly that we took. But when was here, the risk was this close. That was the risk for the long. And why I go long on this instance was because the L2 was, the bids were just stacked. Bids were like 3 or 4 times the amount of the ask. So this just had one direction to go. None of us expected this that day. This was Para Friday. None of us expected this, but it happened. Sure. Button in the right hand corner takes a screenshot of a chart. Were you guys taking a screenshot of which? Which? This? You can share scanners on tiers. I think you can share strategies. Yeah, you can there's some way you can format it to share strategies, but I'm not sure. On my intraday, yeah, this is my main chart. This is how my stuff looks during the This is how my stuff looks during the day. This is my main chart. This is my, because I'm always looking at the market. This is the general market. Right, it's the Dow Jones. I also have lines plotted here. It doesn't need to be big. It doesn't need to be huge. I don't care what these things do. All I care is how they work in relation to my lines. So, on days when this stuff is happening and all this, there's a lot of strength in the market. If you notice, there's a correlation with big board trades in relation to how the market works. That's Dale. Let's see, RCPT right here. AMBA right there. Blue. I mean, it was just a pop, but it really didn't do anything. GoPro right there. See the correlation here, here, on any of the big boy trades. This really, there's no help in this one. Here. So you can see how a lot of the stocks react to this. So when I'm sitting in chat and I'm telling you guys, okay, the market's going up, you know, go with your long stuff, or the market's going up, watch your shorts, stuff like that. So that's why I'm always looking at this, because this is a big indicator for me. I mean, if you do the Apple too, probably it's the same, because Apple's obviously a big boy. See, same thing. So it runs up with this. This runs up. This runs up. So that's the correlation for the markets. Where do I see the stack? Well, my L2 is dead right now because there's no live stuff going on, but it's split in half. This side is bids, this side is ask. So when it's stacked, it'll be like there'll be like a list of buyers here, and there'll be less sellers here. So if there's like 5 or 6 people that want to buy, that versus 1 or 2 people that want to sell, the stock's gonna go up. If there's one person that want to buy, and there's 6 or 7 people that want to sell, the stock is going to go down. That's how the L2 works. But you know what? Maybe we'll do like a live streaming when there's actual live data on, so you can see the L2 in action. Because there's no way for me to teach this L2 stuff with this being dead. I guess we'll do that maybe like on a whole different a short session one day during. Yeah, Max, we're gonna get into a whole different bunch of topics right there if I start going into this stuff. So I really don't want to jump into this yet, because look, honestly, all of this stuff here is great, and finding plays is great. But if you don't know a chart formation, if you don't know a channel, if you don't know a candlestick, if you don't know how to play uh, a trade, if I give you this, I mean, let's see a good one. Okay, if I gave you this morning, I said, here's HRTX at 2625, right? I gave you this here this morning, and you don't know what you're doing. Even if you have all of this stuff, this doesn't teach you how to trade. If I gave you this stock at 26 whatever, 25, what are you doing with it? Where are you taking it? I mean, so before you learn about scanners, before you learn about finding great stuff, before you learn about, I want to be the first one that knows about it, before all that happens, you got to know what you're going to do with it. If I give you this at 21, 26, 25, right? And you're looking at this little formation here, you're thinking, oh look, double top, I'm going to short it, and then this happens. So you got to know formations, you got to know candlesticks, you got to know the basic stuff about trading first before you take on this stuff. This stuff here, this is just time and energy and practice, dedication. This here is what you got to learn first. Because anybody could say, okay, well this, anybody can jump on Twitter or whatever and say HRTX, and they don't tell you what to do with it, what to look for. So this is what you got to learn. You got to learn how to play the charts. You got to learn how to read this stuff here. If you see this, what are you going to do with it? If I gave you this right here at 26.25, what are you going to do with it? That's 26.25 at that line. If I told you, boom, HRTX with just a question mark, what are you going to do with that? Right there. You'd probably short it, because you're seeing this top and that top. You're seeing a double top, right? So unless you start learning the basic stuff first, getting alerts, using scanners, all that stuff is really not even gonna help you. You're gonna find good stuff. You're gonna look back at the end of the day and say, wow, I saw this thing at 26.25 and it went to, almost $30. Great. What would you have done at 26.25 with it? So it would be a perfect hindsight trade, but you gotta learn how to manage this. If that alert for me was 26.25, I already got points figured out. So you got this, and then I would duplicate it, and then I would do this right there. So even if you gave me this at 26.25, I'll put that in a channel, because I already have these lines over here, right? So I would throw that into a channel, and then I would play. So 26.25 would be my line here. Even if I bought at 26.25, if somebody said, hey, buy this at 26.25, boom, I'd buy it, and my risk would be down here. My risk would be, 26, 25.98, somewhere right under the break of this trend line right here. So if you bought here, this is your risk here, and if you bought here, being that this spike was here, this is your break. You're looking for that break above 26.45, and that would, so you're selling some of your stuff. Just saying, if you played this little chart right here, right? Let's just keep this. Let's keep this. Okay, we got your two lines. Somebody alerted me here at 26.25. I took it 26.25, not knowing what I'm doing. But now I drew this line here and this line here, so I already have now a channel. So I took it here. My risk is here. My goal is here. Break up over that, then this line here becomes my support, and then I'll move stops up to my entry or a little bit above, and that's how I'd walk it up. And then obviously you'd be well into this trade. So, and even if you took it over here, when you got here and it broke the formation, you can still probably have enough buffer over here to let it go against you a little bit more and maybe give it a little bit more room. So you went here, so now when it broke here, you're thinking, should I sell, should I sell, should I sell? You come back down and boom, you put that line right there, because you see that point right there and that point right there, that was your resistance. That becomes your support, and look, it would have never hit it anyways. So you would have had this much in profit. You would have been risking right down here, and it still would have kept you in the trade all the way up here. And every main point that you get, you're going to be putting a line in. Every main point you get, you're going to be putting a line in, and that's where you're going to be walking your stops up until it totally breaks out. And obviously you see it up here with this shooting star type formation, and then the sellers said, okay, we've had enough, this was fun, and they just want to get out here. So remember, you're selling into big green candles, this one, this one, this one, right? And if you're going short, you're buying into big red candles. So that would be how you would play that. You thought it started at 7. No, Justin. Started at 6. Your time, I guess. How do you know when it breaks your 8 EMA and is sure short or not a head fake? Oh, well that's the risk. That's the risk. Obviously you see my 8 here. When it breaks, like here, it didn't test it from the underside, so no, that's no good. It broke here, it didn't test it from the underside, so that's still no go. It broke here, it never tested it really to the underside, so that's still a no go. When it broke here, see the difference? Tested to the underside. Then it came back up here, and these were probably just people late to the game or just thinking that this was gonna go more or whatever, but for that little play right there, it was gonna come down. Yeah, Vince. I see the green bar on top of the red bar. Where are you talking, Will? Which, is it this stock that we're looking at? Okay, show me what you're talking about. Will said, I see the green bar on top of the red bar, so which one? Yeah, Phil, that's what I was talking about. When you see the scanners pop in, you don't know what the hell to do with it. That's because you're still finding stuff I mean, you want quick alerts, you turn on your Twitter. I mean, those guys are quick. Those guys are faster than anybody else. But I barely touch my phone. I'll use my phone when I take a little break just to retweet stuff, whatever. But I'm not on Twitter for alerts. I'm not on there for news. I'm not on there for anything but to retweet stuff to help people out and to obviously check my followers. But I'm not on there for anything else. I'm not on there for information. When I started trading, I used to do that. I used to trade off Twitter. I used to sit there and hit the refresh button, but I'm not a refresh button trader. So I find my own stuff and make my own plays. I still don't understand what you're saying. Well, you see the green bar on top of the red bar, and yeah, if you give a call. Still confused about that question. Yeah, AJ, you know what? When you like what did you call today that freaking ran? Give me a ticker that you did today in the room, and it was that $15 stock that you guys played. What was the name of that thing again? Forgot the name of it. Forgot the symbol. Anybody? Quick. Yeah, he's got lines in his head. That's what I'm saying. But I wanted to kind of chart what he did and see if it makes sense. You guys remember that stock that we did today? That you guys all banked on? It was a little stock. It was like $15 or something. Damn it! You guys gonna make me go back into my Twitter? Uh, that's what you guys said. Thank you. Yeah, this little monster move you guys did today. Okay. How would I have done this? Well, I think AJ just had it just down pack on this one, man. Gapping up. If it pops, you pull it. If it pulls, you go long. I mean, shit, that was just too nice. So this would have been my line here. Close. That would have been my close line right there. I would have had a line at low of day from the previous day. So this would have been my range if I was I wasn't playing this at all this morning. I wasn't thinking about this at all this morning. I was on ESPR and AMBA type mentality this morning. But that would have been my two lines this morning if I was playing that from a line perspective. And then I mean, even if you missed that whole, this monster move here, you would have caught in this. You would have caught this here right there on the flag. Your triangle right there, breakout, and you even got a bullish engulfing signal right there, and then you'd go long even here at 1337, even if you missed this whole thing here, and then you'd still get all of this nonsense that happened today. You guys really rocked on this one, all the way to 14 something. Yeah, so there is a technical analysis to what you see. How you saw this, I mean, I guess, I don't know. What did you call for the bottom on this today, AJ? You remember? I don't know if you remember off the top of your head. But you probably said 1325. And then you missed it by like 4 pennies, of course. There's a big delay when we send a chat message. Yeah. Yeah, we realizing that there's like maybe like a 10 or 15-second delay on this ticker TV from when I ask you guys a question to when you guys type it and I see it. So that's what's going on. There's a delay. I don't think there's a delay on Omnovia though. Maybe like a 2 or 3 seconds delay, but Ticker TV is definitely not a paid service, so there's a delay. 1350 right there in the channel. His channels are in his head. I don't know how he does that, but his channels are in his head. My channels are on lines. I mean, obviously our channels are very, very alike, and our calls are where we're looking for stuff are very similar, but How you do it without lines or without MAs or without any set kind of indicators? I mean, your charts are blank. I don't know how you do that, but more power to you. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta use some sort of actual indicator to give me a reason for buying something. But you still see it. I mean, and it works. It works all the time. Awesome calls, people. It's the room to be in. Uh, what else could we go over? Anything else you guys want to go over? Someone teach you the strategy, or I found it of myself. And if you found it yourself, how long did it take you to find out how to look for trends in all these lines, channels, etc.? Yeah, I started trading based on Twitter. I would jump on my phone in one hand and my mouse in the other hand, and I would just refresh Twitter and wait for guys to alert stuff. And I lost a shitload of money on doing that, because they would say, they would say this, 1350 RPTP, and they wouldn't say long, short, stops, they wouldn't do anything, just alert, and obviously I just jump in because I was a Twitter fool, and so I started learning. I started doing stuff like pulling up daily charts, and just started messing with them, seeing reasoning for stuff. I mean, if you look at this chart right here and you draw lines right there. There's a big channel, a big triangle right here, and then the breakout. So if we were swinging this, and if I was watching this from, from way back here, you would say, okay, well that's your 200 right there. You'd go long off that, and then you'd swing it off that because it's already broken the downtrend. So I've been actually looking into some of these beaten down stocks. They've really, like, I've gotten a couple of them that I'm looking at, but nothing really that's been killer. I was looking at this one of this break here. It says downtrend here. I mean, it's like a $5 stock. And it's sitting at one something. So I'm looking at this one to get a little break above that 50 right there. See, so right now it's touching the 50. I'm looking for this one to get a little break, and then I'm gonna go long on it. But I'm gonna try to swing some of this stuff. You see this all the way down? There's another one. Was it PQ? I think. Yeah. Okay. This is another one, and it's been getting some life. Right there. Downtrend. I mean, $7 stock, sitting at $2.28. So I've been looking at that too, on the breakout over here for reversal. I just got into stuff and just started messing with lines, and I was, what I did a lot too, I related a lot of people's calls on Twitter to a chart, and then try to figure out why they were looking at something, or what were they seeing that they took a position or whatever, because I was just playing their stuff and I didn't know how to use stops or what order size to use, or nothing about scaling in or anything. I just kind of went in full size. If I wanted 1,000, I just buy 1,000. If I wanted 2,000, I buy 2,000. And back then I was an idiot. I was thinking the bigger you play, the more money you make. But I jump in a stock, and if it's a $4 stock, I would just jump in and buy 2,000-3,000 shares, and it'll pull on me, and those guys will obviously be out, and I'd be stuck in without a stop and have to hold it for a while before I decided that I just want to cut this loss, and that's how I just lost a lot of money. This one's an energy play. I've been noticing a lot of energy and a lot of financial institutions, holdings companies, that sort of stuff that they're picking up now. So I'll look into some of that. Just like sector trends type deal. Check out gold. JALT. Yeah. This was popping up all day today on the scanner. but it wasn't a lot of them because you see the volume was just so small. It did come up a lot on this volume here, the 130 something. But when I'm looking at my scanner here, I'm looking at a succession of the same stock coming up in a block. There'll be like 10 or 12 of them together or something. That's how I'm looking to pick out something. Stuff that just runs through every day. I could alert 50 stocks an hour if I wanted to, but it'll just be too crazy. Because MMs obviously buy stuff all day. People buy stuff all day. Off these stuff here, I can alert stuff every single second of the day in the room, but it'll get too busy. To have some of my stuff set up, or like if you see there's a POZN here, climatic move up. So I have just strategies set into here. There's just hours and hours and hours of back testing and everything into these scanners. And they're all linked, so any stock that I want. See the climatic move is from this 852 to 907, but obviously that's just one person buying 100 shares. Fat fingered dumbass right there. And then I'll have like after hours and pre-market stuff here too. So it's post-market. And then I have stuff based on Fibonacci stuff also. This is like a 75% pullback type deal. I mean, so it's not even clicking. Okay, try something else. So I have a lot of strategies into these things. I have this is OTC, and this one over here is just OTC. So when I pull up OTC stuff, it'll tell me the volume and everything right here. So while I'm looking at this, I'm only looking at stuff with volume. I don't really want to see stuff with 246,000 on OTC. That's nothing. That's like 5 shares on a big boy stock. So I'm not looking at that. I'm looking for movers. So you're looking for millions. So that's why that scanner picked that up right there because of that. But it's garbage. I mean, could be one of these pop and play type deal. I don't know. There's so much of these OTCs that look like this. I can't play them until that day when I see stuff moving. Then I'll play it. I don't play it to hang out with it anymore. All my scanners have they have set parameters. So they're all based on a different time. I'm sorry, a different amount or a different sector, or like OTC versus all of these, or pre-market, after hours, and then these are intraday, but they're all different price range, so it doesn't get confusing. Because then this stuff just streams really fast during the day, just streaming, and this stuff goes like lightning sometimes, like really fast. I can't keep up with it sometimes. So sometimes I'll just have to stop it, and then just like sometimes it'll go like that fast. Like that's just crazy fast. So sometimes if it's too fast, like I can probably see if there's something that I can reference for. Where is that? I'm just looking for something that was like a succession of buyers at the same time. See, like right here, that's what I'm looking for. Stuff like that. But this is what I'll be looking for, like during the day, like all together. And there's nothing else that really pops up right now. And obviously when they were selling off UVXY, you saw that. Like I look for stuff like this, just a whole bunch of it together. See this? So I play where the money's at. Okay. That's enough. Alright. Alright. Do you guys got anything else? Any other charts? Any other things you guys want to ask? I mean, I'm just trying to break down the webinars into more like into more just classes where we go over just like today we did formations basically and trend lines. So just trying to break it up into little things like maybe we could do L2s and other stuff on another day. Do I pay any attention to the VWAP? I've never even put that indicator on. What does it look like? A WAP. The VWAP. Okay, these are my indicators. Well, obviously we're watching. What is that big? What is that big one this afternoon? We got I'm watching HRTX just because of this move today, and off this daily, that big move up there. I'm watching that. I mean, this chart's getting a little too much, so we're watching that. RCPT, is that the one that moved a lot? Definitely watching this. I think it has continuation in it, though. I mean, obviously we're gonna get a pull, but I think it has a lot of room here to go. AMGN. Well, I mean, it broke the 200. That's not really nice for me to be looking at. I mean, it is one of these kind of these kind of power candles here at the base of a downtrend. It's like a rocket launcher candle. I mean, you'll see one here. It proves for a strong push move. But it being under the 200 and under my trigger here, I don't know. Not really feeling it until I get it open. But it's one of those power candles right there in the daily. And I mean, it's still going up after hours, so see how it opens. But on the daily, I just don't like it being under there. Because that 200 now becomes not a support, it becomes a resistance. UPRO or GPRO? Is UPRO a stock? Oh, it is a stock. Oh, S&P. Okay, so this moves this is a bullish ETF, right? Obviously, same pattern as Dow. Okay, so this is bullish. Yeah, I'm thinking the market's going up, so if you're asking me that, yeah. I was thinking the market's going to retrace down here. On the Dow is the same thing. I was thinking the market was going to retrace down here, but then I have a whole bunch of lines and there's some channels that I have the major markets in. And they're really holding strong. Okay. It gets a little confusing, but this is a whole long time. Let me see if I can pull it out to even longer. 5 years. See, look at this channel. Still holding. 5 years. And I just did 12 months up here, and that's still holding all the way down there. So, all these channels are going to run parallel to each other. So, that would be your ultimate support right there for the Dow. But I think the market's going to pop. I think I called that yesterday for some reason, for something. I think it's going to pop more. It's going to come back here, test there, and then go up again. I think we're in for a nice run, but that's just me. So yeah, UPRO, I'm thinking it goes up. It's obviously going to pull back. It's going to pull back quick in the morning, but then it's going to pop. So it should pull back maybe, where is it, here? I don't think it pulls back all the way here, but you definitely have a line there. But it definitely is not going to pull back all the way there. That's too much. I know, I'd have to put a little thought into this to chart it properly. VWAP is important because institution uses it as a stop. Um, Honestly, I think institutions are using these bigger lines. 200s and 50s. Oh, let me throw the VWAP thing in here. Let me see. Oh, that's what I was going to do, right? Add an indicator. Add an indicator. VWAP, 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 VWAP. What is the VWAP? Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? There we go. Volume weighted thing. Okay. Let's make it a thin line. Let's make it a whole different color. I don't know. Let's just go purple. Okay, there it is. Well, let's change that color if we could. I can't see that color. Let's just make it yellow. Alright. Boom. Okay, so this is your VWAP. The yellow line, right? Does it apply to every chart though? I mean, let's see. RCPT. So you would say it's right off the VWAP there, but then you would leave all this leeway here for error. I mean, if you're talking about this trade here, you're talking about a 5-point give. I mean, I don't know how you play the VWAP. Is it that you want it to hug the VWAP? Is it that you want it to stay above and not below? I'm not really sure how. I mean, and it's just because I don't know about it. I'm not saying that I don't like it. I'm just saying that I don't know enough about it to make a comment. So I don't know how you play it. If you play VWAP cross in MA, I don't know how you really play the VWAP thing. I mean, so obviously, if I was looking at the VWAP, you're thinking, okay, the VWAP's the price got to be above the VWAP for it to be bullish, and obviously, if it's under, it's bearish. Right? No? I mean, that's a basic. Above is bearish. Well, if the price is above, that's a bullish thing, right? You mean the VWAP above. I'm talking about the price. Yeah, if the price is above, it's bullish. Right. And if the price is below, it's bearish. Right. But is it a signal that you guys use for entry and exits? Because I don't see how it can give you accurate information. As far as I mean, maybe if you're doing a swing or something, but I just don't see how it's gonna give you accurate entry and exits. And it could just be me. Maybe I just don't know enough about it, right? But like all this, okay, that yellow line is your VWAP, right? All of this action going on here. If I was playing this and I showed you guys the daily, and I did, you know, I did this thing here and showed you guys that that was closer to an entry, you know, than a signal was. So okay, is the VWAP like a relatively new indicator, like a new age indicator? Not that I'm old school or anything. I've only been trading for a couple years, but I've never used it. I've kind of just been settled on using the. I used to have a lot of crap on here. I used to have grid lines. I used to have, with my Axis thing here, I used to have it like tell me all the prices, the high lows. I used to have like 2 more of these indicators down here. I had a whole bunch of stuff up here. I mean, I could barely see my charts. You guys think this is confusing, but when I started, I thought everything on my chart was the way to go. Now I've been eliminating stuff. No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just don't know enough about it to really say. I just don't know enough about it. But it's not that I won't use it. I mean, I don't see it as a as a main day trading tool for me, because if you can see this here and the way that I trade, I'm more like a I'm more like a, I want to nail that to a penny type of trader, and for me it's just not gonna work. Oh, it's been close to the VWAP. Oh, well then there goes your VWAP. How does it work on a daily though? Because it may be a good indicator for a swing. Um, but I don't think it's a good enough indicator for me for my day trading style. I mean, you guys know I'm just like quick in out type deal. Okay, so your VWAP is kind of coming under now. Okay, so I guess if you were using the VWAP, you would probably look at PBMD even as a swing, because now it just the price stepped above it. Okay, so I see how that works. But then I would have been using the f- the my other formations to rule this out, and I still got a 2 entry, and the VWAP is now telling me at 1221. So I guess there's a delay. Maybe it's more accurate, but for me, just gotta stick with what I know, right? Everybody's got a different way to do things. I gotta take out this VWAP. VWAP confusing me. That's confusing me. I know. I know what you guys are thinking. That's confusing you. Um. Okay. Yeah, I guess you know what. Whatever can help you, but don't get too confused in trades. Don't get too confused in trading at all. I mean, keep it simple. Do that KISS rule. Keep it simple, stupid, or stupid simple, or whatever it is. But just keep it simple. Just draw a line here, draw a line there, and try to keep it in the channel. Use some major supports, use some major resistances, and just kind of give yourself a flexibility in your trades. If you jump in here on a trade, say you jumped in, I don't know, say you jumped in here or something, don't get scared if it pulls down here for a little bit. On a stock that moves like this is a big stock. Yeah, I mean, you gotta be risking decent money. If you want to make points, you gotta risk a point. If you want to make pennies, you gotta risk 1 penny. I mean, so it's in relation to everything. um, you know what? They all kind of come into play during the day. I can't say that one MA is stronger on a daily versus intraday. I can't say that. I mean, a lot of trader would trade here. They would wait for this 50 to go over this 200, and that's where they would trade. They would go long here. They would miss all this. Would I have missed all this if I was just playing this chart alone? I doubt. Because I would have a channel. If I was just saying I was playing this alone, I would have a channel set already. I would have a set channel, so then it would not be like that for me. So a lot of MA crossover guys would go, they would play wait for these type of things, and then I would go off this type of things where there's a line. So that's just me. They would wait for a crossover, right? I would wait for a line. And that would be and that's just a quick plot line that I did there. If I was playing this really hardcore, I'd have more accurate lines. Do I ever use 1 hour candles to chart trend lines? I don't think the 60-minute? That's confusing. For me right now it's just too zebra-ish. I can't use that. Maybe it's just because of how I have my stuff color coordinated. I have all my grays in after hours, and that just helps me to define intradays to after hours. But for me, I don't know. I use strictly. I use my 1 minute. Sorry, my 1 minute on my main screen here, and every other side screen is a 5 minutes. You guys can see it up here. 5 minutes one day. Every other screen, I got 20. Well, I got 4 threes 12 here. 4 threes 12. But take away two. Okay, so I got 22 side charts, one main chart, and one Dow Jones chart. That's all my charts. And then I have my laptop for my for the chat room, and that's it. That's all my stuff. No, I've seen traders where there is like 6 indicators over here. There'll be indicators here, and there'll be one here, and there'll be one there, and one there, and one there, and then this little piece here, that'll be a chart. A little box right there. I can't do that. I can't do that. I've gone through every single indicator in my learning process, though. Every single one of them, and compared all of them. I used to line them all up on a chart. And this is not just to trade with. This is not to trade with at all. This was just for reference. I used to line them all up, and then I'd look at all of them and see which ones are exactly the same, then start weeding them out. And then um after I take out the ones that are exactly the same, I would look for the ones that were different, and then I'd look for how they would work in relation to price. And so these are just the ones that I came up with that I like using. I mean, I've always liked using like the MACD and the stochastics, and obviously volume. But this is what I've been stuck with. But anyways, it's about an hour and a half, so I think I'm almost good here. You guys got anything else you really want me to look at? Questions? No? Alright, we have a delay, so I'll wait. Yeah, I don't use them for entries or exits. I use them just as reference. I'm not looking over here. I'm looking just mostly as general reference, not really for exact entries and exits on anything. My exact entries and exits come from my lines. These other stuff here comes from my mental support, where I'm saying, okay, well, this is oversold or whatever, you know? Alright, guys, what, thanks, guys. We'll be in chat in the morning. I'll be there at 6:30 a.m. You guys have a good night. I'll try to download this thing, upload it, sorry, to YouTube. I don't know. It takes an hour or so. It takes a long while, especially like an hour and a half. So maybe a little while till it's up there. But anyways, hope you guys learned something, at least one thing maybe. Somebody learned something, then it was well worth my time. Alright guys, have a good night. Take care.